Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Wednesday. It is the 13th day of July 2022. I hope that this morning your family is safe, you are safe, your family is healthy, and you are healthy. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and those who are the first responders trying every day to save human lives. Blessings upon those also who pick up garbage from streets and sidewalks and parks and highways to keep them clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women trying to help rescue, recover, deliver the victims, the children and the teenagers who are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia, the victims of prostitution and child prostitution, the victims of pornography and child pornography, human trafficking and sex slavery, and double curses on the perpetrators, the perverts, and the profiteers who traffic in this human flesh and misery upon innocence. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. There's nearly 600,000 men, women, and most importantly, children living on the streets in the United States of America. And there's millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and blessings upon it. For theirs is the kingdom, and if there's anything you could do to help, do it. Big news yesterday. Big news. Adrian Wojnarowski, one of the three wise men, have reported that the Utah Jazz will take calls on Donovan Mitchell. Now, let's remember some important things. First thing we need to understand. See, when you're going into a fight, listen carefully. You need to understand your enemy, and you need to understand the circumstances in the fight you're going in. The possible traps, booby traps, the situation. You got to understand the cost. The Bible talks about counting the cost before you go to war. Why do I mention war? We are dealing with Danny Ainge. He's not the GM of the Utah Jazz. He's not the president of basketball operations of the Utah Jazz. He is now the chief executive officer of the Utah Jazz. Let's talk a little bit about Danny Ainge's history. Before I do, I just want to let you know, Danny Ainge is a dude that once called Red Auerbach while he was on the Boston Celtics as a player and suggested that they trade Larry Bird. He is a dude that did Isaiah Thomas so wrong after his sister died, and he tried to play through pain in the playoffs. This is the most cold-blooded, least faithful dude in pro sports when it comes to trading. It ain't like he just needs to make big deals. He gotta rip you off. And as NWA used to say, as Ice Cube used to say, with no Vaseline. So you better know what you're dealing with when you go to the arena to deal with a Danny Ainge. Okay, there's a couple of dudes out there that it's not just, that we think they smart. They have a reputation based on performance. They have a reputation based on what they have done. So let's talk about Danny Ainge now, who is the CEO of the Utah Jazz. In 2013, he sent Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Jason Terry, and DJ White to the Boston Celtics. And he sent them in exchange for Gerald Wallace, Chris Humphries, Marshawn Brooks, Chris Joseph, Keith Bogans. But here's the kicker. He got first round picks in 2014, 2016, 2018, and the right to swap 2017. What did that turn into? It turned into Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And for the Nets, it turned into disaster. The Nets' whole front office was fired because of that move. And why? Because they were looking at the big names. These is the crew that 3 years prior had won an NBA championship. No, I'm sorry. It was 5 years prior had won an NBA championship. Had been in the finals 2 years prior. But they were done, aging, finished. But they were looking at names like it's NBA 2K. And they brought in these big names and they was finished. And they gave away all their picks that turned into, see, this was the thing. When you gather a lot of draft picks, you just increased your chances at getting a superstar. It's a lottery. You just increased your chances of winning a lottery. Because superstars have been drafted at almost every area of an NBA draft. From the number 1 pick into the second round, you have gotten superstars. You got an MVP that was recent MVP, 2-time MVP drafted in the second round. So the more picks you have, you got to be in it to win it. Well, Ainge picked up enough picks to be able to get Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. He also got, eventually, Marcus Smart. And look at the trio that just went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, so we're dealing with him. But wait a minute. This year, his most recent rape, Minnesota Timberwolves. He sent Rudy Gobert from Utah to Minnesota for Patrick Beverley, Malik Beasley, Jarrett Vanderbilt, Leonardo Balmero, and the draft rights to Kessler Walker, Minnesota's 2023, 2025, 2027, 2029 first round picks, and the right to swap 2026. This dude is about to do it again. So now he's dangling Donovan Mitchell. And let me just say my personal theory on this, okay? I just gave you facts. Everything I just told you is not my opinion. Everything I just told you is facts. So let me just now, at this little juncture, add my opinion to this. I don't think it's any coincidence that he waited until after the Knicks signed Jalen Brunson to present this. I don't think it's any coincidence. Why do I say that? I don't think I have to guess, and I don't think you have to guess to say that Donovan Mitchell has a fondness for New York. I mean, dude shows up in New York every summer. Dude goes personally to the Mets game because his daddy works for the organization. Dude loves Madison Square Garden. Dude has said he grew up a Knicks fan. These are facts. So knowing that, and knowing that the whole NBA knew the Knicks were going after Jalen Brunson, they get Jalen Brunson, a 6'1" guard, $104 million, good deal. But now he puts Mitchell on the market. Because you see, if he had did this before, or if it had gotten out that this was possible before, the Knicks probably wouldn't have gone after Jalen Brunson. They would have instead put all their focus on Donovan Mitchell. But now you got a 6'1" point guard. So what you going to do? Have 2 6'1" guards in the backcourt? And you're paying one $104 million. You're going to pay the other one was part of a $163 million deal? And 2 6'1" guards? That's what you're going to do? Listen, to win in the NBA, to win chips in the NBA, you better play defense. You better play it on an extremely high level, or you're not winning nothing. Ask Mike D'Antoni. You can't win nothing unless you play extremely high level team NBA defense. See, let's talk about Mike D'Antoni for a second, the former New York Knicks head coach. Let's talk about him for a second. Mike D'Antoni's an offensive genius, offensive guru. Ain't seen an offensive mind like his in a minute in the NBA. This dude is really offensive genius. But he could never win a championship because he didn't have defense on his side. He was 7 seconds or less. Hoist up them threes. Outscore your opponent for a lot of part. When he had people, running his thing like a young Amari Stoudemire. And more importantly, a young Steve Nash. They was doing that. Except they couldn't get over the top because they couldn't play defense. So then what did he do? He went to Houston, had James Harden, same system, running gun. They were outscoring everybody. Couldn't play defense. So what did he do? He started getting defensive players, in his lineup. He got Clint Capella. He started getting defensive oriented dudes. But you see, this is the thing. While that helped, obviously it didn't put them over the top. Why? Because it's more than just defensive-oriented players. You need a defensive, system. You need defensive schemes that's going to get stops when you need it. Yes, you need the individual defensive talent, no doubt. Because when it comes down to it, you got to be able to put somebody on their best offensive player and expect a lockdown. But you need a scheme on the defensive side. You can't just show up with that. You got to have a scheme. You got to have a system. He didn't have that. He just went and got defensive players and put them in the game hoping they can make a stop. And they didn't. So that brings us to now. You need defense to win. You're going to have 2 6'1" guards. Who you stopping? And the sometimey Julius Randle? You know what's going to happen. Mitchell Robinson's going to be continually in foul trouble. Because you got to guard his man. Sometimes Julius' man. Sometimes Donovan Mitchell's man. Sometimes Jalen Brunson's man. I don't like the way this sounds. I'm walking into a room with a known rapist. Okay? And he's got candy. All right? I don't know about this one. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it good at all. My spidey senses are tingling. My spidey senses are saying, turn around, get out. Turn around and get out. That's what I'm saying. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. See, Donovan Mitchell, 25, all-star, all-NBA type player. What is it going to cost you? See, this is the thing. Listen to me carefully, brethren. This is the question, first of all, you got to ask yourselves, Knick Nation. This is the question you got to ask yourself. Are you willing, and this is a serious question now, I'm not joking. Are you willing to trade away your team and your picks and start over with Donovan Mitchell and hope that whatever pieces you have left and whatever pieces you might be able to get on minimum contract and whatever pieces you could trade could build around Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson? Because you're going to lose a whole bunch of draft picks. You're going to lose most of your youth. So are you willing to start over completely with 2 25-year-old 6'1" point guards, or 6'1" guards, put it that way? Jalen Brunson being the point, and let's call Donovan Mitchell a 2 because that's really what he is. So let's say, are you willing to do that? Are you willing to start over with 2 25-year-old young star players and have nothing else? Ain't got no draft picks now. You ain't getting no draft picks. You losing draft picks. Are you willing to do that? Is that going to get you the championship? And let's put it again another way. That same Donovan Mitchell had the defensive player of the year at the 5. And they couldn't get over the top. Had the defensive player of the year multiple times and could not get over the top. And you want to start over with Mitchell Robinson and him? I'm not saying I love Mitch Rob. Him and Deuce, my 2 favorite Knicks. But if you telling me you starting over with no draft picks, most of your youth is gone, and you get 2 guards, 6'1", and Mitchell Robinson, and you going where? No, I don't like the way this feels. I don't like the way it feels at all. So, with all that being said, and this is why I love the Don. You see, the Don ain't gonna let himself get raped. Because the Don ain't taking no shorts. So how does this play out in my view? Let me explain. The Don's gonna walk into the room with a price in his head. And if he don't meet his price, he's gonna walk out the room. And he's not going to look back. Did y'all see the draft a few weeks ago? He had a price in his head for Jaden Ivey. The Kings wasn't going to meet that price. Kings decided to go with Keegan Murray, and Detroit snatched Jaden Ivey and wasn't thinking twice. Don turned around and said, trade downtime, and did his thing. Then got Trevor Kills, and then got Trevor Kills, and already had Farron Hunt on a G League deal, and went cheap and just collected some more assets. That's the Don. See, this is where you want to do like that in your front office. if we had, let me tell you something. If we had anybody between the Don and Donnie Walsh, and I like Steve Mills, I appreciate them, they'd get raped right here. If you had Scott Perry on his own, he'd get raped up right here. Okay? But Donnie Walsh wouldn't have. And let me tell you something. Leon Rose ain't either. So he's got a price. He's not going to clean out his cupboards. He's not going to clean out his cupboards for this. But let's see what the Knicks have. The Knicks have their own draft pick in 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027. They got their own first rounders. They got Dallas's first rounder. They got, they got a number. I think they got two other. And some people was tripping because of the protections. Nah, man. Y'all ain't got to worry about that. Hold on. Let's bring it up. Y'all ain't got to worry about that. Them good draft picks. Let me tell you. Let's look at it. First off, let's look at the New York Knicks. I'm looking at Real GM. Nice website. They come up with some good, solid, factual information in terms of the draft pick. So the Knicks got the 2023 Dallas draft pick, the 2023 Detroit, that's protected 1 through 18. What does that mean, protected 1 through 18? Let me tell you what it means. If Detroit makes the play-in, the Knicks won't get the draft pick. Did you hear what I said? If Detroit makes the play-in, and let me tell you something, with Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, you telling me you don't think they could do that? If Detroit makes the play-in, the Knicks will get that draft pick. Okay? Period. End of story. And that's totally possible. Same thing in 2024. So the likelihood with them kids that Detroit got between Ivy and Cade Cunningham and Sadiq Bey and Isaiah Stewart, the Beef Stewart and all them, they moving up. Okay, they are. Okay? And not to mention Marvin Bagley. So you got them, and then they being coached by my man that was coaching here in Toronto. So look, they gonna end up knocking on that door this season. So that's very possible next 2 years you getting that draft pick. You got the Dallas draft pick, which is protected 1 through 10. Come on now. Then you got pick from the Washington. Y'all know Washington's in win now mode, right? Y'all know they in win now mode, right? What does that mean then? If they in the top 7 in the East, you get the draft pick. If they in the top 9 in 2024, you get the draft pick. You gonna get it. They in win now mode. They just got Taj Gibson. What I mean by Taj Gibson, the veteran presence. They trying to get to that playoff because everybody's in their mid to late 20s and it's time, and they just re-signed Bradley Beal to $1 gazillion. They trying to win now. So you talking about Dallas's, Detroit's, and Washington's number ones with your own number ones. So the Knicks can give them all 3 of them. And let's say you gave them 2 of yours, and that's 5 number ones. To me, that's the max I would do. That is the absolute max. And I'm going to give you a salary to make it work. An Evan Fournier, a Derrick Rose, a Julius Randle, whatever salary of those 3 to make it work. And I'm going to give you 1 or 2 young players. 1 or 2. That's all you're getting. I'm not going to let you clean me out of my cupboard. Okay? I'm not going to let you do it. And I believe that that's probably the max that he would do. He probably gonna come in and just give you all of the picks that he acquired, maybe one of ours, maybe. That's what he probably gonna do. And then he probably gonna offer Emmanuel Quickly, probably Emmanuel Quickly and Evan Fournier. He's not gonna be giving away the store. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So what do I say by all of this? Danny Ainge is either gonna play ball the way that Don wants to play ball, or LeDon gonna take his ball and go home. And that's why we have a Leon Rose. That's why we have a Walt Perrin. That's why we have a Brock Aller. That's why we have these dudes for such a situation as this. See, if Tom Thibodeau was president of basketball operations as he was in Minnesota, the whole team would be gone. He would have got Donovan Mitchell and then get a whole bunch of vets that can play defense at the vet men. and try to win with that. But he's not. You got Leon Rose running that thing. You're in good hands, brethren. He's got a price in his mind. He's not going to get raped. You got that equal match right now on the chessboard with Danny Ainge. Now, Don ain't got much experience as Danny Ainge, but you better believe he know all about Danny Ainge history. He know all about it. He ain't stupid. He's not emotional about these names like it's NBA 2K. He's going to look at this coldly and harshly in the broad light of day. He's going to make a decision. And he's got a price in his mind. And if you don't meet that price, if you try to rape him, he's not going past that. He's going to step away. So be prepared for nothing to happen here, y'all. If it does happen, I like our chances of coming out with a good deal. Put it that way. I don't know what the deal's going to be. Everybody likes to guess as to who's going where. I ain't going to do that. I'm going to just tell you we're not going to clean our cupboards out. We're not going to do it. We're not going to lose all our draft picks for the next gazillion years so Danny Ainge can build a champion in Utah. We're not going to do that either. Okay? The 3 that we acquired, boom, you send them out. But we got our own. So we could give them a couple of them, but not all of them. See? So we're going to see how this works out. But I'm very confident in Leon Rose. This is why I call him the Don. There's situations like this you want a dude that knows what he's doing. And he does. And he got a crew around him. Like I said, the Brock Allens, the Walt Perrins, the Scott Perrys when he's with them. You want in the multitude of counselors, there's wisdom. You want to make sure you got the right wise men around you. And you can make that deal. And I like the way he's going to do this. This is, I like our chances right here. So if there's a deal to be done, we're not going to get raped. That's a good, important thing, especially when you're dealing with a Danny Ainge. Second important thing, if a deal doesn't materialize that we like, we're going to walk away and just continue our rebuild. That's it. Okay. Kids playing good in Summer League. The kids playing really good in Summer League. Deuce, Jericho, and Quentin are playing well. Some of y'all just tripping on my man Deuce. I don't know why. I mean, all he's doing is averaging 1 turnover a game, 30 minutes, averaging more than 15 points a game. That's all he's doing. Playing lockdown defense. That's it. I don't know what's wrong with some of y'all. Or he doesn't tap the rim enough. Get the hell out of here. Dude will help us. So I'm very happy. Whatever happens in the next week, because this is going to take a week or so. The Knicks going to present a package. They're going to present a package. Listen, they got to make the phone call. Okay, if Donovan Mitchell's available, you're going to make the phone call. But you got to have a price in mind. And you got to know who your enemy is and what you're dealing with. And I'm very confident Leon Rose has that covered. Y'all enjoy your Wednesday. The Knicks play tomorrow against Orlando in the Summer League. I'm expecting the Knicks to play very well against Orlando. Paolo Banchero's not playing. Our kids are rested and hungry. Did you hear me? Rested and hungry. See, last time it was the second night of a back-to-back. Then the summer back-to-backs are a little harder because the fact is you're not ready yet. You know, you're in the summer. And these are young kids. But they're going to be rested and hungry on Thursday. So I'm expecting the Knicks to play very well against Orlando. That defense is I'm looking for that defense to be crunching. And so that's going to be good. And then, you know, they'll be 3-1. And then we'll see what happens. I think they'll make whatever the Summer League playoffs are or whatever. So we'll see. But it's a good summer. It's been a good summer so far for the Knicks. And I like the way we've developed. Summer's about development. And we're doing well on the development side. Okay. Just the fact that Quentin Grimes is being spoken of in the conversation as a starting 2 guard, that tells you our development's doing well. Whether he becomes it or not, the point is he's in the conversation because that's how well he has developed. Okay, that's how well he's developed, and that's good. Jericho Sims, the 58th pick, just got signed to a 3-year deal. Why? Because that's how well he has developed. Let's continue. Okay, let's continue. So we're doing good. Like I said, if the deal could be made, I'm very confident we'll get a good deal. If not, I'm very confident we'll continue with our rebuild and moving forward. Y'all enjoy your Wednesday. Be safe out there. Be healthy. Shalom.